Still sending the data over. Okay, welcome everybody to another interview in the Crow's Nest. I'm your host, John Adams of the Upstart Crows, and for this evening, we have a good friend of mine, the regional manager of Brooklyn, New York, the man, the myth, the legend, who just, his latest album, Empty Country, really good album, I feel like everyone should check out. It's very good. We've got the illustrious Couvo.
How's it going, everyone? Hey, that was a great intro. I knew you had all of my shows doing exactly that before I come on stage.
So how you been, man? It's been a hot minute. I know you've been killing it in New York lately. You've just been I feel like every show I see is like sold out for you.
It's been good. Yeah, it's been yeah. I'm probably gonna pull back on playing shows in New York soon. Actually, it's just kind of like I need to play in New York a little bit less, but it's been great. It's been great to see the band grow. We keep getting better and better, and the shows keep getting bigger.
And it's like a full band now, which is great.
It's true. When me and John first met, it was just me solo, and now we have 3 guitars.
You have 3 guitars.
Yeah.
So are you even playing guitar at this point?
I am.
Okay.
I'm the 3rd guitarist, I guess. So
okay.
it's now a 5-piece. So I went from one guy to and 4 other people up there with me.
And just to clarify for everyone at home, the referring to him as the regional manager is a bit of an inside joke. It's because we always like to joke that he's got it reminds me of Bruce Springsteen, which is the boss. So I think it's very appropriate to call you the regional manager.
I've always loved it.
Yeah. But yes. So as the folks at home already know, but this is basically a chance for me to interview my friends and artists that I like, and kind of figure out the little secrets. You know what I mean? Like what makes how does Couvo work? How do you go throughout your process? And then a little bit later, we're gonna have you play some music, and but let's go back. Let's rewind the clock and let's try to figure out how you got to this point. You know, I want to know. Do you come from a musical family?
Not at all.
Not at all. We can relate on that. No one in my family plays music. How did this come? Like, where did the decision to do music come from?
Yes. So I am the youngest of 3. My brother and sister are both 8 and 9 years older than me, so I always had a head start in terms of what the cool music was, because that's what happens when you have older siblings.
Absolutely.
And where are you from? John, you're from Vermont,
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
I'm from
Okay.
New Hampshire. Yeah.
And I have a distinct memory of being the summer between, I think, 3rd and 4th grade. I was at Hampton Beach. Shout out, the only beach really.
The only beach in New Hampshire. Yeah.
It's like the Coney Island of New England.
That's such a great way to describe it.
It really is. Anyway, that's where we used to go to vacation. Like, that's where my mom grew up going to vacation. So, New England family through and through. And I distinctly remember my brother playing Punk Rock Princess by Something Corporate. And I was like, holy shit. It was like literally like somebody turned the lights on. I was like, this shit is crazy. And I was in 3rd grade or something. I was just like, I need to like learn how to do this. So I taught myself piano from how to, like, a dummy's guide to music theory. This is how I learned how to play piano. And then I was like, well, I got to start a band. Because that's like, that's what the thing is. That's what Something Corporate is. How do I do that? I can't do this alone. So I taught my cousin how to play piano.
Oh, so you did the trick where you're like, I need a band, so I'm just gonna pick a guy. I mean, that's how I got into music. I was that guy.
Yeah.
My friend's a guitarist, and he was like, you play bass so we can be a band.
Exactly. So then I was like trying to teach myself guitar and stuff. I started taking some drum lessons, and I was like, oh, I'm never gonna like be the guitarist, but I gotta learn this like right songs. I want to be the drummer. That was what I wanted to do.
You wanted to be the drummer.
I want to be the drummer. That was like the only thing. But then it was like, well, somebody's got to write these songs. So I was like, all right, well, I'll just do it, because like we gotta get this done. And then next thing you know, I'm the front man of a band.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. So it's your siblings that kind of gave you your musical taste. I know my sister. I have an older sister. She's about she's 5 years older than me, but all she listened to was like musicals. So it's definitely a bleed. You could tell there's a little bit of bleed, but
for sure,
I would not say she had the coolest taste in music.
Yeah.
So all right, so your brother was the one who kind of get you. Like, what is the musical taste? What is the Couvo family listening to? Does everyone have their own thing?
Well, it was really mainly my brother, I guess, that I was getting music stuff from, and it was a lot of like, like brand new. And Fall Out Boy technically slept in my basement when they were on tour for, like, one of their first EPs of all time.
Whoa!
I
That
wasn't actually there the night that they slept over, but they were on tour, and like they're in their van like Garces or something. They were just playing at Yukon, which is like basically where I'm from, and my brother was at Yukon at the time, and they needed a place to crash, and they crashed at my mom's because it was like down the street.
Wait, does your
Um,
brother play music?
no, he just at the show.
Oh, okay. Oh, it was like
It's
that
just,
level. I know that
yeah,
exact level we're talking
yeah.
about with the like we need a place to crash because we can't afford a hotel tonight.
Yeah, exactly. It was like that kind of a thing.
Okay.
And then it just turned out to be Fall Out Boy, and that's how I found out about Fall Out Boy. And I was probably like third or fourth grade, around the same time. And
Wow.
yeah, so it was a lot of that kind of emo, punk, punk rock stuff. But then it was also like, I don't know, my hometown of Bruce listening to Dave Matthews and Third Eye Blind, and I used to love the Dave Matthews. I mean, I still kind of do, honestly, but it's not
Dude,
that
well,
big of an
you're a
influence
New
at this
England
point.
white boy. Of course you do. We
Exactly.
all have a little bit of love for Dave Matthews in our hearts.
Exactly, and it was like torrenting, or I guess it was LimeWire at the time, like
Yep.
Dispatch, listening to the General for the first time, and
Oh hell yeah.
all that stuff. But yeah, it was that. It was a lot of Tom Petty. It was kind of like a very classic New England sort of palette of music.
So, oh, okay. So your brother's like introducing all these bands. You're having Fall Out Boy, eating breakfast with Fall Out Boy.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, that's so interesting. So there is like a because he's even like your brother's going to shows and stuff like that. This isn't just like something you stumbled across. It's like kind of part of your DNA a little bit, like discovering all this kind of stuff. That's very interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I think that when my brother was younger, he was really into like, I think it was, punk music was a little bit a part of his identity.
Okay.
So there was a little bit of that, but like he like kind of tried to learn how to play guitar and stuff. He was never really like that much of somebody who could like, he couldn't really play music really, but he seemed to have enjoyed it.
Gotcha. Okay, so would you say that oh, what's the word I'm looking for here? It's it oh God, now I've completely lost my train. Sorry, something just
It's all
happened on
good.
stream, so I got
Do you have a chat? Is the chat popping off?
the
What's it
chat.
like?
There's multiple chats going on different platforms here. I'm
Are
actually I
there?
think the audio
What's the
is
chat
not being-
saying?
They're just saying hello. Oh boy, that is not what I wanted to hear.
Chat.
Hey,
let me
Chad,
know
can you
how
let me
it's
know if you
going.
guys can hear us right now? We got TikTok going for the first time, and I don't know if they can hear us or not. So,
Let's see. I'm gonna find you on TikTok right now.
oh boy, having some technical difficulties, folks. I do apologize.
Let's
Chat is
see.
enjoying things. The chat is. I can't. Okay, good. We're good on. I was
Okay.
worried. We're trying something new. You're the first time we're interviewing someone also on TikTok as well.
Okay, this is crazy. I just opened up
And
this
Twitch.
in TikTok.
TikTok.com.
Can you
Yes,
see
well,
that message?
Yes, I can.
This is crazy though, because there's such a long delay.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're streaming on a lot of things.
Okay, I gotta get out of there.
Okay, great. So
You
anyway,
keep me updated on what the chat says. I
We'll
can't.
keep
both
you-
of those at the same time is crazy.
so yes, well, this is a new whole element. But back to the thing. So your brother's seeing a lot of shows. He's introducing you to a lot of interesting music. What was like was there any like first live shows that kind of inspired you to get into playing, or was there? Is it just literally like music? I love it. I want to do it.
It was Billy Joel. First concert I ever went to was Billy Joel, and that was
Billy
because
Joel.
part of the love of piano was from something corporate, and then I got really into Billy Joel because he's really good at piano.
Oh yeah, to almost a point that I think he hates the instrument.
That's funny. That's funny. He's really good at it. But yeah, I remember that show really blew my mind. I mean, I must have been in middle school, and it was like the first time I had really been to a show. My mom took me, and he was like, like jumping up on the piano at one point or something, or maybe like sitting on it. Or,
Oh,
like,
so
smashing
he's
his head
still young
against
enough to
it.
do that. Was this?
He was old, dude. I mean, I'm like, this is 20 years ago. I mean, he wasn't that young, but
Was
or
he
more
was he
than that.
Darth Vader mode yet? Because there was for like I feel like now he's like got the shaved head completely. He always wears like a lot of all black.
I think he was Darth Vader mode. I think he was probably already shaved head by then.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Interesting. Billy Joel. Oh, that's a betrayal of your man. Your Bruce.
I
I'm
didn't
kidding.
like Bruce until college.
Really?
That
What
was
got you
kind
into?
of like, well, it was like always like my mom's music, right? It was always just, it
Yeah.
felt very cheesy, and it had this sort of like American machismo to it that I was like, what's the deal with this? You know, you hear like Born in the USA and how it gets like kind of co-opted by like Reagan, and like that's kind of how it lives in your mind
Yeah.
as a kid. And I'm just like, I don't know about this shit. And it was also just like always written about like these people in kind of like old mill towns that were living like shitty lives. I'm like, I'm trying to get away from that. I don't need music like that. Like, you know, I grew up in like a place like that. I don't need to listen to
Totally.
music that is just about that. Then I got to college, and I don't know, you just get a little bit older, and I was a creative writing major, and I think I was just kind of really digging into a lot of literature that was kind of about sort of stories and lives that, you know, mirror the songs that Springsteen writes. And I've heard him say in interviews how if he wasn't a songwriter, he'd probably be a writer. And I can really see that in his writing. And it's just like a matter of kind of maturing, being like, okay, it's interesting to write about these things that kind of reflect the way you grow up. And he has such a great way of showing, like, such a northeast working class view of America that it really kind of, once you get past the surface level of like the snare sound and how much I hated that as a kid because it was so 80s. And now it's cool, right? Now that snare sound is like back in a really big way. But once you can get past all that and like really hear the songs, like, oh, what he's doing is really cool. And
I think
yeah,
it's. I think there is a level of that because I definitely had that feeling when I was younger too. I think just like we were just in that period. It was like the '90s, 2000s, like the '80s were just like not it. Like
it was
that.
not it.
It was just not the vibe. But now I'm older. I'm wiser. I'm like that
Yeah.
kind of hits.
Well, for me, it was the 1975 that I think really made me get really into the 80s sound. Now I fucking love it.
That's a very good point. I remember my old bass player Adam loves the 1975. Taylor Swift in the 1975, which I was like, what are you doing in my band, man?
I know, that's so funny. I love that 1975 too, but
Oh,
that's it's funny that Crow is coming from that background.
Yeah, it's a total left turn, but I think that's what keeps it interesting, you know, just having someone with a different perspective completely to be like, why don't we do this instead? So,
yeah, for sure.
So, all right, so you're learning piano, you're learning guitar around the same time, it sounds like.
Piano was first. I was like trying to stay away from the guitar, but I was like, I guess I should learn this if I'm gonna write songs.
Now, the way you were describing it, you're saying like learning music theory and stuff like that. Were you like, how are you approaching learning these instruments? Because I when I talk to people, they're always like, I don't know where to start. I'm like, should I just learn a bunch of covers? Should I just start learning theory and stuff like that? And I find that how do people get into the interest of music? You know, like what was the thing that made it work for you in your brain?
Well, I was able to read sheet music, I guess, because I played like clarinet in elementary school band and middle
Okay.
school band, and so I think I had that music theory, you know, book, the Dummy's Guide to Music Theory or whatever, and I was able to be like, okay, this is like what a chord is on piano, because I think that's what I needed to figure out was like what are chords. Like I play clarinet, but it's a single note thing. Like, you know, songs there's like chords going on. I don't really know what that is. And then from there, I guess I was able to like learn songs. And once you kind of know like two chords, you can kind of start writing. It doesn't really take anything more than that.
I
But
mean,
I
that's
think
all
I
you
had
need
to
for punk.
understand. Yeah, I had to understand like, I don't know. I think I was interested too in being like, how could you make the music more complicated to like seem cooler? And not to say that that really was very useful, but I think when you're like a kid, you're just like, oh, I'm gonna do like cool pop music, but it's gonna be like jazz complicated. Nobody's ever done this before, and I'm gonna reinvent everything.
Kuva, stop
And
giving away my secret, man. What are
I
you?
know,
What are you?
right?
You're blowing up my spot. I'm trying to throw sevens into my rock.
Yeah, that
song.
was like the big thing. It was like, oh, I'm gonna add sevenths to these like rock songs, and like that's gonna be crazy. And then yeah, but like, I don't know. I just had that book, and I guess it's what I had, so that's what I used. And then YouTube came around, and you could like watch people play songs and just like copy them and learn the chords.
Interesting. So you kind of had a very almost. It sounds very similar. So you're not like learning covers. You're figuring out the theory behind it and approaching that. So that's
It's hard to remember at this point, honestly.
Yeah.
I think it was a little bit of both, because like sometimes you just learn a song and you're like, oh, what if I changed like this thing? That's cool, and I'll just fuck around with that for a while.
totally. What was now? All right. So you're. Because so you're. I'm assuming this isn't your first band. I'm kind of curious
Yeah.
what the evolution up into this like how many bands were you in starting off? Because you.
Yeah, it was really just kind of one band like in high school that I started called, and I thought I was so smart for this. It was Common Sense, but sense was spelled like change.
Wow. I bet the
And it
ladies love
was
that.
it was fun. It was really fun. I wonder if I could find any of their old songs, but or I guess it was
Oh,
kind of like
you
my
like
my
even
old songs.
recorded?
We recorded some stuff, and we had there were some videos floating around. That was like kind of the only real band I was in besides my own, honestly. Um, it was fun. It was two guitars, bass drums, and saxophone. Because
Saxophone.
you got to be like Dave Matthews or something. We do like Sublime covers and
Oh my
write like
god.
these kind of like reggae-ish, Dave Matthews-y sort of songs. Um, yeah, that was my first band, and then eventually it kind of disbanded because they were like, we got to find a better lead singer. And I was like, all right, well, you guys, I guess, have fun with that. I don't know. So I kind of got
They
kicked out because
kicked
I
you
was
out
like,
of your own band?
yeah, well, like it was all kind of formed together. I mean, it wasn't really
Okay.
like, I was definitely like the guy writing the songs. And they were like, well, we really like your writing, but like, we got to find a better singer. I was like, well, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want somebody else singing these songs. I don't know if that makes sense. They're like, cool. So I kind of got
That's
kicked out for not being a good enough singer. That they found like somebody else to sing for a little bit.
that's crazy because I think you're a very good singer.
Thank you. I know it's funny when people hear that. I was certainly not in high school. They had
That's
every
so
right to find
funny.
a better singer. I had no business singing. I don't even understand how that all happened, but it's worked out for the best in the long run.
Look, man, if you just keep doing it long enough, eventually you get good at it. You know, it's not that complicated.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Okay, interesting. So, all right, you're getting in the process. You're starting like you formed your band in high school. You're starting to write songs. I'm kind of curious to see what is your approach when it comes to songwriting. You know, are you a lyrics first kind of guy, music first? Like, what's your usual approach? Do you have anything consistent, or is it always different?
It's kind of probably similar every time ish. It's usually just like a cool line that feels right over some chords. Once I find like one line, I feel like I'm off to the races. I run a weekly songwriting group with a few of my friends, and every week we got to write a song and bring it to the group to kind of discuss and get feedback on. So having that deadline is like
Mm,
absolutely key. We've been doing this now every week for a little bit over a year, so it's been a good amount of time. And just having that weekly deadline, feeling like I got to write a song by Monday night, um, that
that's
just makes it
crazy.
happen. Yeah.
Okay, so all right, you're doing this is a great example then. So you usually get like a line. I'm assuming you kind of create a concept for the whole thing, and then are you just picking chords, or are you going vocals first? Like,
I'm just picking chords. I'm just sitting down with my guitar and being like, what feels good as I'm like coming up with a word or a sentence or whatever. I'm just like, and then sometimes I might change the chords to kind of match whatever the line is a little bit better. But usually it's just one line. It's not so much a concept generally, and I'll kind of let the line dictate what the concept will be.
mm, interesting, interesting. So sounds very like it would like what is those word generators things would lend
Yeah,
itself
yeah.
very well to this kind of songwriting approach.
Well, sometimes it's just like maybe I'll just overhear a cool line. I'm like, oh, that'll be cool for a song, and it's like when I'm walking down the street or something. But a lot of sometimes it doesn't really happen until I find like the right chords for it, and that kind of unlocks something. And then
Oh, interesting. Okay, so you
once
got the
those two
line.
things come together,
You'll start noodling on the guitar, and then eventually then you start cooking,
yeah,
as it
yeah,
were.
exactly. Yeah, and well, sometimes you just hear a line, or you have like some kind of idea for a chorus, maybe not even a concept, but just like a line that could sit around for years before it just feels like has its right home in
Okay.
terms of chords. Anyway.
Do you so with this process, it seems so you're like really cooking with that stuff. So do you? What would you say the longest time it took you to write a song? What would be the shortest? Like,
Well, like I'll probably always write the song, in a few days, but it just might not be the final version of it. But
okay.
usually when I sit down, I'm gonna not like get up until like there's a finished thing. It's
Oh
just a
wow.
lot of it might get thrown out, and then that could be like years of me like I'll go through several versions of the song over a course of years if I really think it's a good idea, or if it's just like something that I think is cool and I want to go back to and salvage. That could take years, but I'll definitely like have a finished product generally if I'm sitting down, or at least like half of a song. It's
Wow.
just like because like it doesn't really matter. It's like it could all be like filler besides like two lines, but you might as well just see it through and see what's working and what isn't.
Honestly, that's a really good. I really need to pick up that approach because I'm very much like, oh, I'll have a good idea and I'll just save that idea and put it on the shelf and occasionally revisit. And that's usually how I finish it. But I feel like the turnaround is a lot slower with that. And
Eh,
and
Yeah, I mean it's still like it's basically doing the same thing. You just have like a lot more work. You just done a lot more work to kind
Oh,
of,
absolutely. It
yeah.
is the most inefficient way I could possibly do it.
Well, no, I
Uh,
meant my way because
oh, your
like,
way?
because I'm sort of like, oh, maybe this is just a good idea and I don't like anything else about it. I'm gonna do all this extra work to have something that's kind of done.
Yeah, but I
I
guess
just,
it's you're giving yourself more raw material at the end of the
yeah,
day, because then you can
yeah,
like
yeah,
pull them apart and be like, I like these chords, but not with this idea. Put that over there. You're
exactly.
getting more material. Whereas if I like cut ideas out, I have less to work with.
Yes, and you don't really know what's good and what isn't when you're actually doing it. And
Absolutely.
the weekly deadline, like that's a big reason why I do. Is just 'cause, like, okay, well, like even though I don't like anything in the song, at least it's done for the week, and I don't have to waste any more time on it.
How many since you're doing this writing process? Is any of these from this writing process you've been on the latest album?
No, this is all that whole album. I mean, technically, the album that just came out was all written like during COVID, and
Oh,
now it's just
really?
finally seeing the light of day. Yeah.
Empty Country, folks. Check it out on Spotify.
Yes. Listen to this guy. He knows what he's doing here. He's a pro.
I'm a goddamn professional. Okay, interesting. So it's a lot of like. But do you imagine seeing a lot of this stuff? How many songs would you say at this point? Because you've been doing it for.
I guess I could look up in the Google Drive and tell you exactly how many there are. So there's one, two, three. This is gonna take so long. I don't know. It's got to be like 60.
60. Okay. Is in just as of right now, do you see anything possibly featuring on like future records, or is it kind of just like, no, this is fun and giving me ideas for future stuff, but nothing right now?
So I have an album that's getting mixed right now. That's all from before I started the songwriting group, technically.
Okay.
But I'm currently in the process of recording the next album after that. All of those songs are from this group. So everything I write has basically been brought to this group on some
Hell,
level.
fucking yeah, dude. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, just speaking, because a lot of, like I said, this podcast is to kind of help people who are a little afraid to get started in making music and stuff like that. Is there anything like tips or tricks, anything you find that kind of like a little nugget of advice that you find helpful when it comes to songwriting?
Oh
Musically.
man. I mean, having a deadline is like key. Like, give yourself a deadline. Just being, I have to do this. I have to have something that is a done song with, by the end of the week or something.
Totally.
Deadlines are the key.
Honestly, because we've both done the what is it, not the the lottery, the Brooklyn
Oh
Jam
yeah,
lottery
yeah,
that we do every year, which highly recommend if you are in your own town and have a scene that you play with, definitely start your own. Basically, the way this would work is we would all the musicians in Brooklyn that knew each other, we would form little bands, and we would have less than 24 hours to write 3 songs and then put on a show that night. And that kind of deadline always gets you. You're not gonna make great songs, but you'll definitely make 3 songs.
You'll be surprised at the quality of songs that you can get from
Oh,
that.
yeah. When some people show up with some stuff, and you're just like, wait, you didn't write that beforehand?
Yeah, there's some really crazy stuff going on.
Oh, wild. I can't wait to do it again. I believe it. Getting close to it. I think
I just decided to hop into the chat in TikTok to see if there are any comments, but I'm out of it because it's too much. The delay
it's
is
a lot.
crazy.
I look like freaking Batman over here.
That's funny.
With all the screens. But yes, to the folks on Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok, if you've got any questions for my good man Couvo, we'll be saving them for the end of the episode. You can ask him anything you want to know. But anyways, back to our conversation. So you're saying that a lot of lines, you're pulling like lines from around the world. Is there any like books, films, visual art, anything you're really kind of like pulling inspiration from continuously? Going back to the well more than once.
I steal a lot of my lines from Don DeLillo books.
I don't think I'm familiar with him.
Check out Don DeLillo. He's one of the best living American. He's probably the best living American writer in my book. He's written a book called Underworld that I love and I've read multiple
Okay.
times. He's most famous for his book White Noise, which was recently made into a movie, like maybe 2 years ago. He's very like postmodern, very sharp, and sometimes very funny, sometimes very heartfelt, but that's not really kind of what he's known for. I'm a big fan of him. That's definitely the guy I probably steal from the most in terms of actual words. I also love this dude Alan Silito, who wrote one of my favorite books called Saturday Night and Sunday Morning, which actually has a line that became the title of Arctic Monkey's first album. Whatever you say I am, that's what I'm not. It's actually
Oh,
from that book.
really?
Yeah, which I didn't even know at the time of reading it. Odds are they probably took it from the movie, 'cause there's also a famous movie based on that book.
Yeah.
Both are great.
So you're big. It sounds like you're a big reader, which I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, I was a creative writing major in college, so.
Right. You
Yeah.
did say that. I'm good at this.
No, it's all good. This is the first time you've heard it, so.
Yes, yes. But no, that's yeah. That's great to. Yeah, I think it's kind of important to kind of just consume other art forms when you're making art because
Yeah.
you don't know where you're gonna pull inspiration from, you know.
Yeah.
And the more fuel you have, the hotter you burn, you know. So.
It's a
Uh,
delicate balance, and generally, yeah, the more you take in, the more inspiration you have. But it's hard to find enough time to consume all the stuff you want to consume these days.
Oh God, tell me about it. It's just well, we can get into the work-life balance of being an artist and later down the show. But I one question I did want to ask you about because we're talking about stories a lot with your songs, but I don't know. Do you go personal with a lot of your songs, or is it more just like, oh, this is an idea of maybe something that happened, but like, you know, you zhuzhed it up for the sake of the song?
Yeah,
like, and especially off this new record, Empty
I don't.
Country.
I would say I don't go too personal. They're generally fiction for the most part. It is generally like I'm trying to reflect things I see kind of in American society and just like our lives today. But generally, it doesn't come actually from my real life.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, I'm a big Jack White fan, and he definitely is more of a story writer than like
Yeah.
personal stuff. So. Dude, yeah, tell me about it. I'm a big fan of story songwriting. I literally wrote a song about a guy getting sacrificed to an evil cult. You know.
Is that the Hinge song? Is that how that
Yes,
one
the
ends?
Hinge song.
Yeah.
Yeah. The app you can delete afterwards. They are not sponsored. But
Not
yes,
yet.
not yet. But after this episode,
This is the one.
Okay. Well, there's. All right, I think we've kind of gotten to the midpoint of my questions, and would love to have Couvo, if you'd be willing to play a song. We'd much appreciate it.
I can absolutely.
Yes, folks. I'll pull you out while I introduce you. Yes, fine, folks. Thank you for hanging out with us. You've been listening to me talk to my good friend Couvo. If you haven't gotten a chance, you should definitely check out his new record, Empty Country, on all platforms. And if you're in New York City, he's playing a lot. Yes. So, all right.
All right.
Take it
the
away.
song is called "This in Between." I don't wanna know what you're doing right now. I don't wanna know what you're doing right now. Every thought's like a razor blade aground. So please don't tell me what you're doing right now. I wish you loved me more. And I wish you loved me less. Just something else besides this in between. Yeah. both know that I just don't fit. We both know that I just don't fit. I see blue faces out in the street again, and my world is getting empty and I just don't fit. I wish you loved me more, and I wish you loved me less. Just something else besides this in between. That is This In Between off my current last album I put out, Empty Country.
Amazing. Are you gonna just play one song for us tonight, or are you feeling like another?
I can do another. Let me think of what I want to do. I'll do why don't I try a new song? This song I might record on Saturday.
An exclusive.
I'll even be able to pull up the words. This is fantastic. Look at this. I don't usually get this kind of.
Amazing.
Okay, what's this song called? Okay. It's basically the same chords, so. Rooftops and smokestacks, sun and cigarette ash, pretty violence in a glass. Beaches going sugar soft, twilight in another loft, fucking till the sun's up. It'll break your heart. It'll break your heart. Thunderclouds and no rain, cherries too sweet to take, kissing till it aches. The heat, it never ends. You want a free drink and another hand. She says she wants to bring a fan. It'll break your heart. It'll break your heart. It'll break your heart. It'll break your heart.
Woo!
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Hell yeah, man. Hell friggin' yeah. Oh, that's such a nice song. I can't wait till hear it when it's a full band.
Yeah, we'll see how that ends up being orchestrated. I think it might be maybe just some guitars and some pads and stuff.
I could
We'll
hear
see.
that just like how you did it here. That's would be
Yeah.
a very cool vibe. Now, wait, because you're saying you're still figuring out the orchestration for that. Are you doing that while in the studio, or are you figuring that stuff beforehand?
This is the one I'll probably be figuring this out in the studio.
Ah, interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm usually like my approach is definitely like have it all figured out before I enter the space, because I'm just so like time is money. We gotta move. We only got like
Yeah, yeah,
6 hours or whatever amount of time we we put in there. So, and I don't trust myself to be creative enough on the spot. So
No, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, this will be like I am paying, I guess, by the hour, but it's at my friend's place in his apartment. It's a little bit more chill than like a real, you
oh, is
know.
that the place where I think I've seen some videos you post where
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
giant grand piano?
yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, having a grand in your apartment is
It's crazy.
crazy.
You got that for free.
Well, that I believe. You can get a
Yeah.
piano anywhere. It's
Yeah, but
as long as you're able to move
it's
it.
like very. It's like perfectly in tune.
Oh,
It sounds
really?
great.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of like your production and your band and everything like that, I'm kind of curious about how you're managing to just working with all these different people. You know, because like I said, we were playing together. You were doing a lot more solo stuff. How has your experience changed now that you're working with a lot more musicians? 3 guitars.
It's great. Yeah, it's great to have like a crew of people that I can rely on, and I know our players and can show up and do the thing. And sometimes guitarists can't make it, and I got friends who can fill in. So it's become a very big tent,
Big
the
tent.
Couvo world. Yeah.
So it's not just like us. This person's in the band, but more like I don't want to say hired guns, because sometimes that could be a little dismissive at times. But is it something like that, or is it more like band
there's a
members?
there's a core group. I would
Uh-huh.
kind of consider them like band members, but like this isn't really like a lot of the people in the band are professional musicians, and they get gigs that actually pay them. And that's what they have to be available for.
I
So
mean, that's kind of the situation with like with Aaron. He's working drummer, so he's always working out, and we're always like, hey man, we'll try to pay you when we can, but if you got something that pays, we totally understand.
yeah, so it's like whenever they're booked for something that like to my drummer and my guitarist, Carl and Mark, shout out Carl and Mark. They're both playing the same cover band that in the summers they're basically booked every weekend in Montauk and stuff, and that's just how they
I
make
mean,
their
that's how you
band,
make the
so.
money, right? At the
Yeah.
end of the day, is cover bands.
That's basically how they make enough money like for the year, I think, doing that. So
Do they do
it's
weddings
good.
too? Are they in that circuit? Oh, nice.
They're doing it all.
Nice. Now, you were saying that you were planning on recording at your friend's studio. Is there a name for that studio, or is it just literally like your buddy?
It's Quinn Devlin. He's a producer. That's what he does for a living.
Oh,
I think
nice.
he calls it the Flop House, which is kind of like his own little name for it. But yeah, he's really great to work with. So if anybody's trying to do kind of more like indie Americana stuff, he's really good at that.
Nice.
Yeah,
Now,
it's a fantastic place.
is have you worked? Do you work with them a lot? Do you I like? Have you done with like working with other studios as well? I'm assuming so at this point with your
Well,
discography.
so I mean, everything you've heard that has been put out, I've produced myself, and now it's all been kind of in my own home studio sort of scenario.
Oh wow,
Um,
I
yeah,
did not know
so
that.
but I do have an album that's getting mixed now, which Quinn produced. We did that at the Creamery Studio in Greenpoint with overdubs at his place. And now we're working on something that's a little bit more bedroomy that we're just doing at his place. We'll probably overdub some drums at the end. But yeah, everything you've heard technically is my production. So I can also produce albums, I guess, if anybody's interested.
There you go, folks. Well, I
Yeah.
guess how did you get into that? When did you decide to just be? Was it like a thing of just like I don't have any money and but I want to get this music out? Uh,
Well, I guess like during COVID and stuff, I kind of worked with. I had a friend who I played in his band, Mark Smith. He moved to New Mexico during COVID, but before that, he was like, "You play my band, we'll trade studio time." And he had like a little studio place that I actually ended up taking over. At this place called New York Vocal Coaching. I do freelance work out of there
Oh, nice.
for their students now. He used to do that. He kind of like moved to New Mexico and gave me that job. But before all that, I played in his band. He's like, "We'll trade that, time you spend in the band where I'll just like record you." And so I used to just do it, at his place. So we would kind of just produce it sort of together. And then yeah, I mean, I've always been kind of recording music since I started writing songs out of college. Really, once I graduated college, I kind of got more into the production side of things. So I was kind of like figure that stuff out. Then COVID hit, and I was like, I can just do this in my I was living out of my mom's place. I was like, I can do this in her basement, and then I could trip it out for drums and stuff that you need like an actual studio setup for, and just do that remote and just kind of keep cranking along.
Yeah,
Does
I
that
mean that
answer your
was
question?
no, absolutely. That it's funny. I definitely did my a few approaches, and it definitely kind of opened up thanks to COVID, because I was like, I would never even attempt to do any type of recording beforehand, but I tried to do stuck by myself. Unfortunately, I tried to, because I was like, no one's going to be able to do drums. Maybe I'll find someone on Fiverr. And the, the thing was, they were like, real drums on the ad, and I'm like listening back, and I'm like, why does this sound so mechanical and off? And I found out it was because he recorded the hits live, but then, just like patterned it out afterwards. Yeah. And I'm just like, oh, God damn. And it was after I released it when I realized like what he had done. So if you listen carefully.
Yeah. Well, if anybody needs a good studio drummer that can do remote work, Dennis Leafling. He's on the whole album that I just put up.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to have you send me all these names so that I can put it in the description afterwards, so people can look these people up. Because honestly, that's the point of this show, is just kind of help people kind of demystify things, kind of give people some behind the scene information.
Yeah.
What do you use for software? Are you
I can
Apple
use Pro
boy?
Tools or Logic. I prefer I'm basically in Logic, but I have done stuff in Pro Tools.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's great. So you got these. You got a project coming up. Are there? I'd be curious to see what's like the Couvo dream project. Like what is the thing that if I could be like, Couvo, I got a golden ticket for you. You name it. You can work with anybody.
Oh.
Who would be the person?
Man, like a piece of me is like, I would just keep doing what I'm doing now. Like, this is kind of sick where I'm at. Like, I feel like I'm kind of doing exactly what I want to do in terms of, I don't know if there's anybody like I would like, I desperately, like, I guess it'd be cool to work with, like, why am I blanking on this guy's name? Hold on a second. Let me track down this guy.
That's fine, but yeah, dude, I'm glad to hear
Andrew
that.
Sarlo. I would love to work with Andrew Sarlo at some point, but like, it's all like, it's cooler to work with the people that are coming up and are like, your colleagues and somebody who's like already, blown up.
Absolutely. Oh no, of course. That's. Plus, it's usually cheaper and you can afford it.
But if I could work with Andrew Sarlo, that would be fucking sick.
You mean my cousin, Andrew? I'm kidding.
Dude, I haven't seen your cousin in a long time.
Oh yes, that actually how me and Couvo know each other is my cousin Adam went to high school with you, right?
No, he went to college with me. I mean, we already knew each other, but then I realized that you were Adam's cousin. I was like, that's crazy. What a small world. He was like, I was trying to get him out to one of my shows for a while, and he's always like kind of down. But he's busy.
I can never get him to come to any of my shows. I don't think.
No.
He's busy being a film man. But anyways,
he's killing it.
He's killing it. He's doing right. Now this is kind of the segment where I kind of want to kind of talk honestly about future goals for what's next for Couvo and the gang. Do you actually have like a Couvo and the Blanks or anything like that when you guys play live?
No, it's just Couvo.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do appreciate those names because it's like, I kind of wish I did something like that because then you can, it's like then you could do solo and then it's the band.
Yeah.
And the Blanks, but honestly, Couvo is just kind of a cool word,
Oh,
so
thank you.
I feel like it works very well. But yes. The future goal for your bands, you're a staple of the scene in New York. You're all over the place. You're constantly playing out. Where do you see things going in the next 5 years? This is the interview. This is the resume section. Trying to get the job.
Well, my biggest weakness is I just care too much. I think that the more immediate goal is like probably hit 100K monthlies on Spotify once I'm starting to release this next album. I think that's totally feasible, and probably just have that be an actual stable thing where it's like an audience that's more based in the U.S. and England, like where it makes a little bit more sense.
Where are they based now? I feel like you have a pretty big.
Based there now.
I feel like you have a pretty big following here in the city, at least.
Germany loves me.
Really?
Germany loves Empty Country. That's is
hilarious.
Probably my number one. Let's see. Well, let's look at what my Spotify is saying right
it's
now.
funny. We get a lot of Eastern European, or at least I
totally
think
see
so,
that.
because all the names look like they're Russian or something.
Yeah.
So we getting a lot of love from behind the Iron Curtain.
Oh yeah, the Iron Curtain, R.I.P. The 3 of my top 5 cities are in Germany.
That's
Hamburg is my
crazy.
number 1, and then Berlin and Munich. So, yeah.
Any plans to tour Germany? I know you
I've reached out to some people.
You've done Canada. I know you were just out in Canada, if I remember correctly.
Yes, Canada is sick. Montreal is one of the coolest cities I've ever been to. Montreal is fantastic. I'm absolutely going back there and playing again. Um, I have tried to talk to people in Germany. I might try to work out something for the spring, but we'll see about that. I kind of got to get on that. But yeah, I think the goal for now is just like hit 100K, maybe 100K monthly listeners. That's like really stable. Maybe try to use that to get an opening slot on a tour. Probably do it solo until I've proven out some market history in terms of ticket sales where Warren's bringing out a band. And just
Yeah,
keep
are you
putting
doing
out really good
touring by
music.
yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I cannot afford to bring out a band. There's no, and I don't think that there's much to be gained as of now to bring out the band. I think I
Totally.
gotta prove some stuff out first and kind of have enough of a following that it makes sense.
Of course. You know, it's because I know we've definitely looked out into touring, and like I know we were looking to try to go to like just to like Illinois or something, like to Chicago, and like flying
Yeah.
out there and just like looking at ticket prices, and we'd at least need we you know, it's three of us, so we kind of have to figure out all that pricing and stuff like that, and we'd have to figure it, and it's you know, it gets bad.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
We're not
you're
making
doing?
money doing any of this.
Yeah, no, it's are that's actually was a later question I had, but I can ask it now. Are you doing this full time, or do you have a side gig, or how are you
I have
surviving?
I have a day job. I do sales for a startup company, and that's my 9 to 5, and that's what I use to pay the bills. If I didn't have that, I would not be living in New York City for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I say it all the time. You know, that my day job. I'm an engineer, so that's what me affords me to do anything with the band. If you've seen
Yeah.
us, it's because I have the money to do it.
Yeah.
But just to go a little bit back, you were talking about tour. Are you the person that does your booking, or are you at the point where you're having someone helping with
I have a
booking?
friend who has an email address that you were emailing, but that I've just like set up just to like.
Now
So
that's a
sometimes
tip.
she helps me out on that. Yeah, but it
Th-
seems more legit.
That's the tip. You just
Yeah.
get a fake email with someone else's name, and you look way more legit.
Maddie is a real person, but
Sure,
she does
sure,
some stuff
buddy.
sometimes. Maddie Bricosi, she's a wonderful photographer. If anybody needs a photographer for their shows,
Oh,
that's
amazing.
what she really does.
Honestly, I probably
for
do.
her
So I
band.
might hit her up. That's
She's
great.
great. Yeah.
Okay,
But
so
it is a real person. I just also have access to the email in case anything cool pops up.
amazing. Yeah, that's So you're the one. So you are reaching out when you're planning these Canadian tours. You're just reaching out to venues, basically the same way you do it in New York, where you're just like, hey, I've got
Maddie
these
might have
dates.
actually done that, but yeah.
Okay, it's not that hard, guys. Just
It's
reach
not.
out to people.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. I'd be curious to see, because you've always been kind of very DIY with your approach and everything like that. What are your thoughts on current the way the music scene is kind of industry is kind of working versus like the DIY approach, and like there seems to be almost a bit of a bleed nowadays where it seems like they're DIY, like the overarching people, like we're all on like TikTok and like Instagram and doing all these different things, but it doesn't seem that wildly different anymore. Is there like any purity to the DIY, or are we all just kind of selling out?
I mean, I've never really thought too much about the purity of DIY. It's just like, I mean, it's all the same shit. I don't
Yeah.
know. I've never really been like, oh, got to keep it pure and DIY. It's just like I'm doing it because nobody else is gonna do it. That's what it comes down to.
Hell yeah, man. I mean, I feel
Yeah.
that kind of the same way. I know that I've just talked to some people in at least in our music scene, that have kind of that attitude, and I'm always just kind of curious about what people are thinking. Because I
Yeah.
would get that if it was like the 80s and like super punk rock, but this is, I don't know. It just, the lines
But
are.
like, I don't know. It's funny because like Kurt Cobain wanted to be the biggest band in the world, so
Exactly.
he was really kind of like a pop star and he would be making content and he'd be crushing. Like you could put on the content he created in the '90s would crush on TikTok today.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. So here's some more of the more personal questions I'm curious about. Are you doing this all by yourself, or do you have any type of representation, like a manager, agent, label, anything like that?
It's just me, and then Maddie does help me a little bit on the booking, and
Okay.
that's been it. Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing, though. You honestly don't even need a team that big. You can just kind of go for
Yeah.
it. I gotta say, you kind of inspired me to kind of get really into the TikTok and Instagram kind of game, because you were posting a lot of like reels and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
do you got any like tips or advice on that approach? Do you find that it's working for you? Are you seeing any? Basically, is the energy worth it? You know?
Okay, so like basically this is kind of like table stakes to be taken seriously for anybody who's really kind of any sort of gatekeepers in the music industry. Like you kind of have to be making short form content for them to even like consider doing anything with you. That's just kind of like table stakes. There's this band Galam that blew up from a reel like 2 years ago now, a year and a half ago,
Hmm.
where it was like men will literally invent a new genre of like shoegaze before going to therapy, and it's just that for like 5 seconds while they play a sick ass riff that's in their song Glass. And I was with Quinn like literally the night that it blew up, and we just saw their Instagram followers just like go from like 4K to like 40K like in the day because it just blew
Whoa.
up like that.
I don't
Like
think
we
I've
just saw
seen.
it in real time, just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it was crazy. And that's what inspired me to be like, I need to start taking this a little bit more seriously. And it's something like, yeah, it's just like that is a place where you can get more exposure and people actually pay attention to you. Now, in terms of it translating to any actual streams for me, I don't know if it's done that much. People in the scene, like locally, have definitely like been like, "Oh, I see you like crushing it," and I feel like I have a little bit more awareness because of that, and that's cool. But I think it's just part of the job now.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I've definitely been doing it a lot more and posting stuff. So I feel like I've seen a little bit of a transfer over, but it's definitely like, like drip feed. Every time you do it, you just gotta keep posting it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and you get better at it over time. I mean, it's a skill, and I don't
are
really
you
actually spend a whole lot of time on Instagram or TikTok. Like, my screen time is literally like 3 hours a day. I'm like not that on it, which is,
really?
yeah.
Oh, interesting, interesting. I was gonna actually ask you if you had any things on social media, because I feel like I always thought you were a bit of a guru when it comes to that kind of stuff.
I mean, I try to pay attention and think of things that'll work, but like, I like to spend as little amount of time as I can manage. But
Totally,
it is just it's the way it is. It's kind of like the radio stations, in the 1960s. That's kind of like TikTok and Instagram now.
totally, totally. All right, Kuvo, I appreciate you hanging out with me tonight. I
Yeah.
just have one final question for you. What are you listening to this week, my friend?
Oh, I was just listening to Water from Your Eyes. Um, they're cool. They're
Water
really
from your
cool. They were
eyes.
kind of blowing me away a little bit. I was listening to CMAT's new album, which is really, really fucking good. Like just kind of like pop music, Euro country. That's my friend Allison from
Euro
Wetsuit
country?
turned me onto that. That's the name of the album. They are,
Oh,
it's it. CMAT, she's an Irish singer, so it's Euro country. It's kind of like country-esque, kind of Irish,
gotcha,
a
gotcha,
little bit.
gotcha.
Yeah. Allison from Wetsuit turned me onto that album, and it's been really
Oh,
good.
Wetsuit's such a good band. Yeah,
Yes.
if you got local Brooklyn band Wetsuit, they're very good.
They're very
Um,
good.
Kuvo, I appreciate you hanging out with me this evening. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you'd like to say to the fine folks of the internet before we head off?
Go stream Empty Country.
There we go. All right, folks.
Yeah.
Have a good one.